Why? Because the people in that area, they can drink the water. Why can they do that? Because they've been drinking it from a young age, and their bodies become accustomed to the microbes in that region. Paul was a very traveled person. He moved around. He was apparently in a well-to-do family. He was a Greek. He was a Jew. He was back and forth. And so he had developed a stronger constitution. Timothy did not. Timothy was a country boy. He was a homeboy. And so Timothy, there was a very simple way that people overcame that whole don't drink the water thing. They would add a little wine into the water. That would kill the microbes. Then they could drink it. Paul leaves Timothy in Ephesus because there's a crisis of leadership. Apparently, there had been abuses, there had been ungodliness amongst leaders in the church. Paul had to remove them. And he writes a letter back to Timothy and explains this. So it's a very contentious situation. I mean, anybody, y'all ever been in a situation where leadership gets forcibly removed? You know, that ain't a fun environment. And guess what? Timothy, I'm leaving you in charge. You know, there's some people there who don't want Timothy there, especially the leaders that got removed. And guess what? They're whispering in some people's ears. Paul knows that. Paul writes down the requirements for what leadership ought to be and to do, some of which include stuff about wine. 1 Timothy 3:2-3. A bishop must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine. 1 Timothy 3:8. Likewise, the deacons must be grave, not double-tongued, not given to much wine. And so it was important for Paul to explicitly put in this letter, Timothy, put some wine in the water because your stomach is not accustomed to the water there in Ephesus. So that those that want to be contentious about this and say, hey, you know what? Timothy gets to drink some wine. I saw Timothy drinking wine. You understand? So, there you go. That just must mean Jesus doesn't heal. Timothy had to put water in his wine. You know, if I go around and say, you know, listen, stop licking the public water fountains. You know, you're going to face some spiritual battles if you're just purposely not doing common sense hygiene things, right? So, because we have the stripes of Jesus on our side, and we have the kingdom of God on our side, that isn't in conflict with exercising good personal hygiene. And in this situation, it was important for Paul to call that out, considering the potential contentiousness of the environment that Timothy was in, especially understanding that Timothy was dealing with timidity. He wasn't quite as bold as Paul, and he was susceptible to be drawn into this kind of thing and dragged through the mire, and Paul had to keep him going. So he was trying his best to make sure that his protege wasn't getting thrown out into the wolves. One of the things in here says, Paul, no longer. Maybe for some reason Paul had said, Timothy, don't put any wine. You can't do it. You gotta fight through this, man. And then he hears, you know what? Timothy, sometimes he's up, sometimes he's down. He's got all this battle. And Timothy's like, man, I know Jesus has healed me. You know, he's fighting, he's standing for his stomach to be completely free from this thing. And Paul's like, you're focusing on the wrong battle. Dude, just put some wine in your water and get out there and fight the right battle. Get your eyes off yourself.